Do you remember the last time you got lost in a story, like trying to find your way in a mall without a map? Well, that's the magic of storytelling. Whether it's a gripping book, an engaging movie, or your friend's wild adventure from last weekend, stories have the superpower to glue us to the edge of our seats. But have you ever wondered why we get so wrapped up in tales like a cat in a ball of yarn? It's not just because stories are a great way to procrastinate doing the dishes, although they definitely are, but it's also because our brains are wired to be total suckers for stories. Hello and welcome to the Wolf of Content Street Show. I'm your host Mithil, and today we would be discussing the psychological impacts of storytelling and how it can captivate your audience. Now, our brains are like a bunch of moths, and stories are an irresistible light that they can't just help but fly towards. When we listen to or read a story, our brain gets all sort of excited. It releases chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin, the brain's version of a happy dance. These chemicals makes us feel good and more connected to the story and the characters, almost like we are a part of the action without actually having to leave our couches. Stories are like that one friend who helps you figure out your life's problem but without giving you unsolicited advice. Our brains are always on the hunt for patterns and meaning in the world, and stories are like a buffet of patterns that our brain can feast on. When we hear a story, our brain tries to connect the dot and makes sense of what's happening, kind of like solving a mystery. This not only keeps our brain busy, which is a good thing, trust me, you don't want a bored brain, but it also helps us make sense of our own lives and experiences. Ever read a book or watched a movie and felt like the characters were your long lost soulmates, even though they are living in a magical realm or a galaxy far, far away? That's because our brains are wired to empathize with characters and their struggles. When we see characters going through challenges and emotions, our brain goes like, "Hey, I know that feeling." It's like having a mini therapy session without the awkward coach. This makes stories just not entertaining, but also a way for us to connect with others on a deeper level. Now that you know how storytelling can hold people's attention, like a squirrel spotting a nut, how can you use this ancient art of captivate your audience other than by throwing candies at them? Here are a few tips. First, start with a bang. Just like walking into a room with confetti cannons, begin your story with something exciting that grabs your audience attention like a dog chasing its tail. Second, create relatable characters. Make your characters feel like old pals by giving them quirks and challenges that your audience can relate to. Like having a friend who's always late because they are convinced their toaster is plotting against them. Third, weave a tantalizing plot. Keep your audience hooked up by creating a plot with twists and turns like a roller coaster ride with surprise snack breaks. Tip number 4, appeal to emotions. Make your audience feel all the feels by describing emotions and experiences in a way that hits them right in the heart like a well aimed hug. And point number 5, wrap it nicely. Finish your story with a satisfying ending that leaves your audience with a smile, like finding the last slice of pizza in the box. So, remember, storytelling is like a secret potion that can make people laugh, cry, and forget about their troubles, at least temporary. So, go ahead, tell your tales, and sprinkle some little magic into the world. And with this is Mithil signing off at the moment. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Meet you again with a new episode. But until then, stay safe, keep smiling, and don't forget to keep creating content. Ciao.